Today what's going on is I'm going to build a little, like, small patio enclosure for my garbage can to sit outside. My garage is a little jam-packed, so I'm trying to get stuff out of it, including the garbage can. So, what I'm going to do is get the grass out of the way, put down some patio sand, compact everything really well, put those little patio pavers down, and then build like a little small fence area for it to go behind, and I'm going to use these brackets to hold it up against the wall and down onto the patio pavers. So that's today's project. The first thing I'm going to do is I've acquired my materials. It cost me about 68 bucks at Lowe's, and this is the area I'm going to be putting it in. Right here between this stepping stone and over there, a little bit down a ways past that, so it's not in the way of that, my hose reel. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is get out tape measure, mark off my area. It's going to be 9 square feet, roughly, I think. No, that's not quite right. 45 by 45 inches, because each one of those things are about 16 inches wide, so yeah, roughly that. So I'm going to mark that area out, use a little spray paint it out, and then I use my weed eater to get all the grass out of the way. So there we go, we've got some spray paint markings showing us where this is going to be. The grass is going to need to be taken up. Grab your weed eater and do that. So once we've got it all weed eated out, come back with a leaf blower and get all the extra grass clippings out of the hole. The next thing you want to do is take some weed blocker or something similar, put it down there, and then put your sand on top of that and start compacting everything down. Okay, so what I've done is I've used my tamping tool to tamp some of the earth underneath that reblock material first. Laid down my material. Now I'm going to put my sand down, tamp down my sand a few good times, make sure that's nice and compacted. Then I'm going to come back and start laying my bricks down. So actually what's happening here is I tried to compact it on top of the weed blocker, and I felt like it wasn't compacting very well. It wasn't getting down in the grooves where it needed to and stuff, due to the fact that the grass roots were still there. So what I've decided to do is put the sand down first, compact that really well. I've run the compactor over it a few times. I'm going to go ahead and put the weed blocker back down, start putting my bricks down. So now I've got the bricks laid down. The thing you want to do next is, if you can look at them, you can see they're a little not so level. So what I'm going to do about that is go grab a 2x4, old junky 2x4 or whatever, that isn't much longer than that is across. And that's about 48 inches, so get one a little shorter than that. Get a big sledgehammer. Well, not a big sledgehammer, but one you can use with one hand. Come back and tap all that down. You'll put the board over it and see where it's high. Tap it where it's high to where it compacts it down to where it's nice and level. It's probably not going to be perfect, but I'm not looking for perfections here. I'm looking for something cheap and something that I can just use to, you know, have my garbage can outside and have it hidden from the street as per my homeowners association. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've got this all pounded down with a 2x4 and a sledgehammer. The next thing I want to do is shorten these boards some. These are 6-foot boards, and my trash can is only about 3 feet tall. So I'm going to cut them down to 4 feet. That'll give 1 foot higher than what my trash can is. So I'm going to cut all those down, and then from there I've got a pressure treated 2x4 that I'm going to use to string all those together with, but I'm going to cut it in half because it doesn't need to be an actual 2x4 when it's just holding these little pieces of wood together. So, and if you've ever looked at a fence, you would see what I'm talking about. It's not that thick. So that's what I'm going to do, is cut everything down, cut that down to the right length and width, and start assembling my little wood piece, fencing area, whatever you want to call it. So I've got all my wood cut down to my desired dimensions. What I'm going to start doing is laying it out, squaring it up, and start putting boards down. The way I'm going to do it, which you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to, you know, there's a couple different ways you can configure these boards. You can lay them one next to each other like this, or you can kind of overlap them a little bit, which is what I'm going to do. I've already calculated the proper amount of material to have a 1-inch overlap on either board, so it kind of just overlaps like that. So that's the way I'm going to do it. You do it the way you want to do it, but just make sure that everything's nice and square when you go to lay everything out. So now, as you can see, I've got everything laid out, measured out, spaced out properly and everything. The last step is just to run some screws through here, and then I'll be ready to attach it to the wall. I'm going to run a screw here, 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 and so on, all the way down the board. Make sure I get a good bite, make sure everything's put together nice and well. So a couple hours later, this is what I have. Originally, I had only planned on doing that front panel over there, but after installing it, it was a bit wobbly, so I added this extra piece here to give it some more reinforcement. That way it didn't, because we get pretty good windstorms here in Orlando, you know, up to 80-mile-an-hour winds just on a summer afternoon storm, so I needed to be pretty structurally sound. So I affixed it to the concrete wall with some Tapcons there, and then down in this corner you can see I secured it to that block down there. Yeah. I used a hammer drill to drill a hole, put in one of those little expanding screw thingies, screw it down in there. And I'm going to put one of those there as well. Probably doesn't need it, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's pretty sturdy at this point. I don't think it's going anywhere. But just to be on the safe side, like I said, we do get quite a bit of wind here. So there we go. Nice little area I can put my trash can, get it out of the garage. Thank you for watching.